The Wolverine, a stocky and muscular carnivore that has the documented ability to kill prey many times larger than itself. The Spartan, a citizen trained in the disciples and honor of a warrior society, and one of the most feared military forces in the ancient Greek world.
This is Sparta!
Thursday, these two heated in-state rivals dueled to the death in Ann Arbor, with the Wolverines slaughtering the Spartans 69-50 in an early March Molest Fest massacre. The win secures Big Blue with the outright Big Ten regular season title as they continue to fight for a 1 seed in this month's upcoming NCAA Tournament. Sparty, however, is looking to spear the looming bubble cast over his ass and sneak into the big dance. And he has a chance at reincarnation and redemption this Sunday in East Lansing. Chapter 1, The Bloodbath, is complete. Chapter 2, A Second Chance, is this Sunday, and we're here to break it all down next on DSE.
Recorded from the DSE studios in downtown Detroit, this is Detroit Sports Extreme. Here now is the voice for Detroit Sports, Johnny Bakerstone.
Well, smack my ass and call me Sally. I wish you a happy weekend greeting regardless of which side of the Michigan State spectrum you're on. But Thursday's Ann Arbor whack job sends us into a weekend whirlwind. Take cover, basketball fans, because March is heating up. Michigan clearly entered Thursday's showdown against the Spartans pissed off after an embarrassing home loss to Illinois on Tuesday, and showed no mercy on MSU on senior night at the Chrysler Center. With their NCAA Tournament nuts officially up for grabs, the Spartans enter Sunday's rematch in East Lansing in an almost must-win scenario. Win, and they notch their third victory over a top 5 opponent since February 23rd. And barring an early Big Ten tournament gag job, should sneak into the NCAA Tournament. But boy, it's gonna be close. DSE bracketologist Barney Cartman will babble on all of the bubble action later in the show. But for now, let's spend a few minutes rehashing Thursday's Ann Arbor annihilation.
Michigan 69, Michigan State 50.
Sometimes it wasn't pretty, and the first half featured sloppy play and a combined 21 fouls whistled by the Zebras. But in the end, the second-ranked Michigan Wolverines proved to be no match for the unranked Michigan State Spartans. The effort was fueled by a motivational video played by Juwan Howard before the game, which saw ex-Spartan Draymond Green trash talk the Wolverines. Not that I think the video had any bearing on the final result, but does that guy ever shut up? My biggest takeaway from the game? Michigan's defense. They limited MSU to only 36% shooting from the field, including 0 of 9 from deep. It was the first time the Spartans failed to hit at least one three-point shot in a game since 2013. Yikes. Although he had an electrifying dunk early in the game that caused me to wet my pants, Michigan State forward Aaron Henry, arguably the team's best scorer, was limited to just 14 points on 6 of 15 shooting and 4 turnovers. Franz Wagner's length and athleticism really seemed to disrupt Henry, and he could never quite get into a rhythm. Wagner also led Michigan in scoring, netting 19 points on 4 of 6 from deep. Hunter Dickinson was second on the team in scoring with 14 points and got the ball seemingly wherever he wanted it in the post. Guys, when this guy gets the ball where he wants it, he almost always capitalizes with that soft half hook of his around the basket. As the game entered the waning minutes, it was nice to see seniors Eli Brooks, Austin Davis, Mike Smith, and Chaundee Brown hugged by Coach Howard as they exited the game. Howard's chemistry with his players and coaching staff has not gone unnoticed during his tenure in the first chair. Isaiah Livers kissed the block M before he left the court and gave Howard a resounding high five as he approached the bench. It was sad to see nearly no fans in the stands, and I feel bad for all of the seniors across the country that won't be given an appropriate senior night this year. Michigan and MSU square off again at 4:30 on Sunday on CBS. I assure you I'll be watching, beer in hand. Let's now touch on each squad going forward as we approach the most anticipated weekend rematch.
Michigan Wolverines.
Thursday's win improved them to 19-2 overall and 13-2 in the Big Ten as Michigan clinched their first Big Ten regular season championship since 2014 when they won it under John Beilein. It's truly been a remarkable ride, and I've been sober for almost none of it. It's crazy to think that U of M actually entered the season unranked. Juwan Howard reached the Final Four twice as a player in 1992 and 93 and the Elite Eight in 94, but never won the Big Ten. Oh, the 90s. What a decade. When he was hired in 2019, we assumed Howard would be able to recruit, and he has only vindicated that by welcoming the #1 recruiting class to Ann Arbor this upcoming fall, according to 247 Sports. Let's also not forget he brought in Hunter Dickinson this season and used the transfer protocol to acquire Mike Smith and Chaundee Brown. One thing I criticized Howard for last season was his in-game coaching, in particular his X's and O's and halftime adjustments, or lack thereof. But he has improved drastically in those marks from year 1 to year 2. There have been rumblings about him possibly moving up to the NBA, but I don't see that happening anytime in the immediate future, although he may be due for a bump in salary. But hey, aren't we all? I'm looking at you, Pete. When am I getting my raise? Johnny, we'll talk about it after the show. Yeah. Howard is currently in year 2 of a 5-year deal that pays him $2 million annually. Athletic Director Ward Manuel opted to cut into Jim Harbaugh's pay because of poopy performance, and I could see the opposite happening with Howard's contract real soon. If Howard chose to go to the NBA, I think it would be a mistake. He seems to be a true player's coach and is already proving to be one of the best recruiters in the country. You can't recruit LeBron James to come play for you in the NBA. Just ask John Beilein, who famously lasted just a half a season in Cleveland. Juwan seems perfectly molded for the college game. Regardless of what happens this weekend, Michigan will enter the Big Ten Tournament as the 1 seed, and barring a collapse of titanic proportions, should enter the NCAA Tournament as a 1 seed as well.
Michigan State Spartans.
How the mighty have fallen. Fresh off back-to-back-to-back Big Ten championships and being ranked as high as number 4 earlier this season after starting 6-0, MSU finds themselves squarely on the NCAA Tournament bubble, with a streak of 22 consecutive tournament appearances at stake. Oh boy! Thursday's loss ensures MSU will finish with a losing conference record for the first time under Tom Izzo and first time since 1993. For those of you scoring at home, the blockbuster hit The Fugitive, starring Harrison Ford, was released that year. A movie that can be found every night on WGN Superstation. Izzo assured fans after the game his team will bounce back and is looking forward to the next game on Sunday. You'd have to believe Sparty will look leaps and bounds better at home, even if there won't be many fans in the stands, and I expect the weekend rematch to be a lot closer. And if it's not, Sparty better start making NIT arrangements, as anything short of a win on Sunday or lengthy run in the Big Ten tournament could burst their balls and tournament bubble. Sure State has impressive wins over top 5 opponents Ohio State and Illinois in the last couple of weeks, but one way to avoid the bubble is to avoid a 30-point loss to Rutgers and 30-point loss to Iowa, a 25-point loss to Minnesota, 18-point loss to Maryland, 17-point loss to Ohio State, 14-point loss to Northwestern, 10-point loss to Purdue, and 9-point loss to Wisconsin. My God! A special thanks goes to our trusty source named The Troll from the DNN Network that supplied me with that healthy nugget. Aaron Henry has clearly been the team's best player all year, but Rocket Watts has struggled mightily in transitioning to the point guard spot. And transfer junior forward Joey Hauser, at least in my opinion, has been a disappointment. Help could be on the way, however, maybe, as 2022 number 1 overall recruit Amoni Bates has committed to play for Tom Izzo, but the tea leaves are suggesting he'll opt to play in the G League and will never put on a Michigan State uniform. Bates refutes the comments, but I don't know. In the end, I hope Bates does indeed suit up for Michigan State, and if he doesn't, it could start a disturbing trend in college basketball. Stay tuned later in the show for my pick on Sunday's winner, but let's now quickly go to DSE bracketologist Barney Cartman, who's been hibernating the past 11 months, but boy has he been putting in the overtime this month. Barney, thank you so much for crawling out of that rabbit hole of yours to join us.
Fuck you too, Johnny. Okay, it's very simple. A win versus Michigan on Sunday would punch a ticket to the big dance for Tom Izzo and Michigan State. It would mark MSU's 5th Quad 1 victory of the season and 9th Quad 2 victory. Now, what is a Quad 1 victory? Essentially, it's a home win against an RPI team ranked in the top 30, neutral win against a top 50 team, or an away win against a top 75 team. Now, Johnny, a victory last weekend at Maryland, something you idiotically predicted all over social media and got wrong,
Eat shit, Barney!
would have already locked this thing up. But State still has some work to do. A loss to Michigan on Sunday would really complicate things. And if that happens, MSU better win at least 2 games in the Big Ten Conference Tournament, or they'll be watching the big dance from Big John Steak and Onion. Reporting from East Lansing, this is bracketologist Barney Cartman, DSE.
We are going to take a quick 60-second commercial break here on Detroit Sports Extreme. Do not go anywhere.
You should be driving a Kia from Summer Place Kia, a Summer Place Kia. Over mileage on your lease? Getting raped in the ass upside down on your loan? Bad credit. No credit. Don't sweat it. Even if you live naked in a cardboard box off I-75, our credit amnesty team can get you approved. If you have a pack of bubble gum and earn $5 a month, Our lenient lenders can get you driving in a brand new 2020 Kia Sorento quicker than you can say this is the most annoying commercial ever. Why pay more for a used car or truck when Summit Place Kia and Auburn Hills can sell you a new car for less? Call 1-800-NEW-KIAs. That's 1-800-NEW-KIAs. You should be driving a Kia from Summit Place Kia, a Summit Place Kia.
Welcome back to Detroit Sports Extreme. Here again is the voice of Detroit Sports, Johnny Bakerstone. Rock that boat!
It's now time for Rock That Boat, where our regular mainstay, Boats from the West Side, gives us 1 minute of what's floating around in that noggin of his.
Hey, Johnny. Boats from the West Side again. Hey, man. Michigan State went on a hell of a run. They lost to Maryland, but they still beat 2 top 5 teams, man. I like it, but then they got their ass kicked by Michigan. Unbelievable. So, who knows what they're going to do, man? Maybe they make the tournament, maybe they don't. Who knows? They ain't doing nothing in it, though. They ain't doing nothing in it. And with the Abani Bates boat news, man, what's State going to do, man? What's Tom Izzo going to do? I got a feeling, man. I know this might be a hot take, but I think Tom Izzo might retire because of this news, man. He ain't got nobody coming, man. Everybody's going to go to the G League, man. It might be the college basketball as we know it, man. Ain't nobody else going in there. And what's this news that we might trade Jeremy Grant? I mean, what are we doing, man? We just signed a guy. He's our number 1 player, man. I heard we might get 2 first-round picks from the Knicks for Jeremy Grant. What are we going to do with them? They ain't going to be lottery picks or nothing, man. That's just garbage picks. We ain't going to do nothing with them.
That was Boats from the West Side in Rock That Boat.
Boats, I'm with you on Amoni Bates. I really hope he suits up for Michigan State. Having these elite high school players skip college and go straight to the G League is just not good for basketball. Regarding Izzo, he certainly isn't getting any younger at 66 years old, but there's just no way he can go out like this. He's far too competitive and is hungry to chase down another national championship, but time is certainly running out. There have been rumors regarding Jeremy Grant, and unless the Pistons are offered the moon for him, they need to hold on to him. He still has 2 more years under contract after this season, and now would not be the time to deal him. And if you do, you need lottery picks in return. Thanks for the call, Boats. Enjoy the Michigan State game this weekend, ya booze bag, and I look forward to hearing from you next week. Now let's move on with the show in a segment that's been gaining traction in recent weeks as my former esteemed colleague at 1660 The Wave, Candy Copperfield, and myself battle it out mano a mano on some of the hottest, juiciest, and spiciest local sports topics here in the Motor City.
Below the Belt. Topic number 1. The Lions just signed wide receiver Tyrell Williams to a 1-year deal worth up to $6.2 million. Does this acquisition move the needle for you?
Honestly, not really. I see this more as a depth signing. However, it could prove to be more than that if Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones go bye-bye. But guys, if the Lions somehow enter Week 1 with Williams as their number 1 receiver, they'll have serious problems, so I expect more moves to come. That's not to say Williams isn't talented, but he has struggled to stay healthy in recent years. If he can stay on the field, he'll put up something in the neighborhood of 40 catches for 650 yards and 5 touchdowns. Candy?
Yeah, Johnny, we pretty much see eye to eye on this one. Williams will stretch the field as a vertical passing threat for Jared Goff, and new Lions OC Anthony Lynn is familiar with him from their days with the Chargers. Williams averaged 16 yards per reception during that time from 2016 to 2018, and I envision a similar role for him here in Detroit. I'm fine with the signing, but only if Williams is the Lions' third wide receiver. And Johnny, he needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, well, so does your liver, Copperfield. 2 additional news nuggets of note. A special DSE good riddance goes to Desmond Trufant as the Lions released the god-awful corner on Friday. Also, the Motor City Kitties restructured linebacker Jamie Collins' contract, which will give the Leos significant salary cap relief. What GM Brad Holmes chooses to do with it remains to be seen.
Topic number 2. Blake Griffin was officially bought out by the Detroit Pistons on Friday. Thoughts, gentlemen?
Trading for Griffin might just go down as the worst trade in Pistons history. Let's not forget, they gave up Tobias Harris, who was averaging 20 points and 7 rebounds per game this season, Avery Bradley, and a lottery pick to acquire Blake. And Harris was flipped by the Clippers shortly after for 2 first-round draft picks.
Doesn't that make you absolutely sick to your stomach, Johnny? I'm still hitting the bottle just thinking about it. In a desperate move to keep his job and save his ass, Stan Van Gundy tried to bring in a star to dazzle owner Tom Gores, and boy did it backfire. It's nothing against Blake. He poured his heart and soul into this organization, but the Pistons could have traded Tobias Harris for 2 first-round picks and instead traded for an aging veteran who can barely walk anymore. Sure, Blake was good in his first year in Detroit, but my God, did he fall off a cliff. And quickly. Thanks a lot, Stan Van Gundy. I'll see you in hell.
Unfortunately, guys, there was just no way the Pistons were going to be able to move the Blake Griffin contract and acquire assets. His contract was just too massive. Griffin will give the Pistons back $13.3 million, and they will eat his salary this year and owe him roughly $30 million next year, but then we'll be done with him. For a team in a full-on rebuild, it was a move that had to be made.
Yep. Best of luck to Blake going forward, and rumor has it the Nets are the front runners to land him.
With the Tigers' spring training now officially underway, what are some things you'll be watching?
Spencer Torkelson, the first overall 2020 draft pick, is starting at third base to begin spring training, and he has clearly surpassed Casey Mize as the club's top prospect. He's the number 3 prospect in all of baseball, according to MLB.com. He can hit for both average and power from the right side of the plate and is regarded as an extremely patient hitter. He plays at both third and first, but he'd be a lot more valuable to this team at third, and so far this spring has been holding his own at the hot corner. The canceled minor league season robbed him of making his major league debut last season, and although I doubt he makes the opening day roster, I'm holding my breath, hoping he's up in the big show by the summer.
Well, Johnny, I'm watching Miggy, baby. He's back in shape and ready to rake this season. Sure, he turns 38 in April, but he's looking as trim and slim as ever, and the Tigers have been toying with the notion of playing him a little bit at first base this year.
Candy, I've been hearing this dog and pony show for 10 years now. Every year I hear he's in great shape, and every year he looks the same to me.
No, Johnny. Last year he lost some weight, and he's kept it off this year. Open your eyes. Miggy is only 13 home runs away from 500 for his career, and 134 hits from 3,000. He hopes to hit both milestones this season, and I think he'll do it.
Now let's go to our weekly award winners in our annual Bird and Turd of the Week awards and Stat of the Week.
Bird of the Week.
Pistons guard Dennis Smith Jr. These are exactly the types of players the Pistons need to be taking chances on, as Smith was acquired in the trade with the Knicks for Derrick Rose. Left for dead in the Big Apple, the former lottery pick has been shining in the Motor City, averaging 11 points, nearly 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and almost 2 steals per game in the past 2 weeks for the Pistons. He has been regularly posting full stat lines in about 25 minutes of work, and even put up a triple-double in the March 3rd win at Toronto. Remarkably, Mason Plumlee posted a triple-double in that game as well, giving the Pistons 2 players that achieved a triple-double in the same game for the first time since 1964. An honorary mention has to go to Saban Lee as well, who has been getting some run lately and has looked good, posting a career-high 21 points on February 23rd and 20 points in the Raptor win on March 3rd. He's averaging a respectable 12 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and a steal in the last 2 weeks, and has sadly looked better than lottery pick Killian Hayes when he was playing, but I know it's early. In any event, it's nice to see some of the young Pistons producing.
Turd of the Week.
I'm going to give the Turd of the Week to the entire Detroit Red Wings hockey team, who have lost 3 games in a row and sit at a record of 7-16-3 with only 17 points, 3rd fewest in the NHL. The Dead Things rank 27th in the NHL in goals, 29th in goals against, and dead last in average goal differential and strength of schedule. I'm going to give my full support in Steve Yzerman, but I'm beginning to question if Jeff Blashill is the answer at head coach. I know the team is extremely raw and young, but they haven't gotten any better under Blashill, at least not in the win column.
Stat of the Week.
$91 million. That's the amount of total money the Detroit Pistons have opted to pay Josh Smith in 2014 and Blake Griffin on Friday not to play for them. My God, if I could only orchestrate such a buyout here at DSC, my financial hardship and divorce settlements would finally be over. Here's to you, Rebecca Bakerstone.
Extreme Sportsbook. Sponsored by the Johnny Bakerstone Law Firm. Going through your 3rd divorce like Johnny? Well, make some money off these bets to help cover the bill.
Okay, let's look at a couple of sporting events this weekend to make some money on, starting with the big tamale on Sunday.
Number 2 Michigan at Michigan State, Sunday at 4:30 on CBS.
Here's the problem, guys. As of this recording, the spread still has not been released because Vegas doesn't know if Michigan will be resting players or not. Michigan will be giving points even if Juwan Howard decides to suit up. And although I might regret this, give me Sparty straight up to get a huge home win on Sunday. The Spartans burned me last weekend at Maryland, but I see them rebounding in a big way in a must-win game. Tom Izzo's gang has won 4 of the last 5 contests between the two rivals at the Breslin Center. I'll make a post on Facebook when the spread is released, but if you're feeling dangerous, pound back a shot of tequila and take Sparty straight up.
NASCAR Pennzoil 400, Sunday at 3:30 on Fox.
What you ask for is what you shall receive, folks from the West Side. The Busch Light drinking DSC regular asked for some NASCAR talk, and that's exactly what he's gonna get. So far, Michael McDowell has won the Daytona 500, Christopher Bell has won the NASCAR Cup Series, and William Byron has won the Dixie Vodka 400. Yum, vodka. But I don't see any of these three gentlemen winning this Sunday's race. Now, obviously, it's hard to pick a winner in NASCAR, even if you're betting the favorite, but for the sake of a fun talking point, why not pick these races each week? At 9-2 odds, Kevin Harvick is the favorite, but his last 5 results at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway are 10th, 8th, 2nd, 4th, and 39th. No, thank you. Instead, give me Martin Truex Jr., who came close to winning last week in Miami. Sure, he has the second best odds to win the race, but a $20 bet would still get you $140. Truex has top 8 finishes in 6 of his last 7 races in Vegas, including 2 wins. He's also led laps in 5 of the last 7 races in Vegas. Since 2018, only 2 other drivers in Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano have a better average finish on this track. If you're looking for a fun way to spend your Sunday afternoon, split a dirty 30 with some buddies, bet Truex, and put the race on along with the Michigan State game. Thanks for listening to this edition of DSE. Guys, enjoy the Michigan State game on Sunday, and we'll be back at you real soon to preview the big dance for hopefully both U of M and MSU. Cheers, Detroit!